everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Research UX podcast. Yes, this is still our conference series. This is EACD Galway, Ireland 2026. I hope you're not sick of hearing my voice yet. We've got so many episodes for you, and we really just wanted to bring the essence of this conference, how this all feels, the content that's coming out to you, and hopefully give you things that are really practical that you can put into place straight away. And joining us on the show right now is a dear friend of the podcast. Welcome, Alvaro Hidalgo Robles.
Thank you, my friend. My pleasure always to be here.
It's so good to have you here. Good to have you here in person. I think I've been saying that a lot lately. How nice is that? Normally when I talk to you, I see in the background, you've got some Star Wars thing in the background. And how's the collection going?
Good. Yeah. My wife won't say the same, but but I'm trying to have a balance between
balance. Oh, these are the sacrifices you have to make. Oh, well, it's good to be able to have you here. I know Ed had a question with you about whether how you're thinking about Mandalorian and Grogu. Yes, and you're waiting. You haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it. It's been quite challenging weeks, so I'm waiting to be at home to see to hear Pedro Pascal in his real version.
I
need to hear
like it. The original voice. Yeah, no overdub.
No, not at all.
Okay, so message me once you've seen it. We can be brief about it. Okay, I won't give anything away. No, okay. Well, today we're talking about a really interesting topic that I feel like a lot of our listeners would love to hear about. This was a poster presentation, so this gives us a chance to talk about it in far more detail. Interesting term. The title is Neurowashing in Early Intervention, a review of neuroscience rhetoric and an appraisal tool. Neurowashing? Where did that term come from? What is it?
Well, this comes from, it's like a not long story, but we have been thinking about after all the work we have done with some non-evidence-based intervention and how they are trying to move into scientific rhetoric and neuroscience rhetoric to trying to jump the bridge between what works, the evidence, and what family want. And we have been thinking about it since, 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And we realized that neuroscience has become central on how we explain early intervention and how we know it works, and concepts such as neuroplasticity or brain connectivity are everywhere in the family conversations with professionals. For example, with infants at high risk of CP, we know from research that neuroplasticity is one of the first things they want to discuss.
Yes.
We find it in the social media, in the everywhere. And that's great because many professionals and families are using it and are approaching this concept in collaboration and in a critical way. But we know that there are some others interventions that are using it like in a way of promoting neuroplasticity when we know the ingredients are not really doing it. So that's why
I love the term, and it's just so important, isn't it? I remember a conversation I saw Brian Hall in the background over there. We'll talk to you really soon, Brian, as he said that, in common day now on websites, it's almost like you're not a proper therapist unless you have neuroplasticity written in there, right? And how is it being used? And is it actually true? Are we exploiting the term?
Yeah.
And that makes it really difficult then, doesn't it, for things that really are truly working to actually have that stand out, because everyone's calling it neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So neurowashing as a term, has that been used elsewhere before? Is this a term that you have your team has come up with?
We create. Yeah, it's something similar. For example, what we have with greenwashing or pinkwashing, all these kind of terms that are trying to steal this, in this case, this real neuroscience
Yes.
to their own benefit, even when their promises are not supported by evidence.
Yeah, it's really true. I think one of the things that I often notice is it's not just the word neuroplasticity, isn't it? It's like the words task specificity.
Yeah.
I see that being used really inappropriately. Like, what does task specificity actually mean for you? What does the science say, and how do you see it being used elsewhere?
Yeah. For example, I feel the same. Sometimes when we are trying to approach the term, we don't really know what is. But when, for example, when we are using it in a concept or in a strategies in natural environment, task specificity is what we are doing in the real life.
Right, yeah.
When we drink, when we eat, when we go to the park, that are the real tasks on the real environment.
Sure.
So while we are approaching this natural strategies, I think we can align with this task specificity and all this.
Sure. What other terms do you find are being used in this neurowashing kind of way? So task specificity has been one of them. Anything else that you see?
Reflex integrations.
Reflex integration.
Brain connectivity.
Okay.
Yeah. Synaptic planning.
True. I have seen that. And I often go, have you actually done a scan to see whether that has actually happened in the way that you do, right? I saw a post the other day that said, if you align a child in the right way, their spasticity melts away. Didn't know you could eliminate spasticity, but there's such triggering words, aren't they?
Yeah.
Reflex
Absolutely.
Integration, that's a really interesting one. That's everywhere on social media.
Yeah, everywhere.
Themes. Yeah.
Everywhere.
So how do families, how do clinicians look at these terms when they're, in front of them? They're looking for a course to do. Families are looking for an intervention to be a part of. How can they tell the difference between the word being used in its intended way versus not it being used in an inappropriate way or misappropriated?
Yeah, we were discussing a lot about it, and we ended up creating. It's not a test. It's like a way to approach this conversation between families and professionals. We call it the HYPE test or the HYPE framework.
Okay,
which is like a 4-part framework. Above all, to guide the conversation between professionals and families. And we are focusing on honesty of above all the speech that they receive. For example, they have seen in social media one intervention and they want to discuss with their service provider. We will be focusing on honesty of the message, the yielding to evidence, and they will need some time to check with the therapist, with the service provider, to check if we just have something published in a website or we have real papers published. We can assess the methodology. We can discuss with the family all this to also build capacities in this kind of research.
Yes.
And then we will analyze if the speech is precise and plausible.
Right.
This kind of speeches usually are over simplified or over complicated the message with words that means nothing.
Lots of big words put together.
But they ended up having a big, message. When you try to see what is behind this, it's nothing.
All smoke and mirrors. Yep.
And the last word was ethical. We will approach the ethical part of the message and of the intervention.
Amazing. And so I see that you're using this as a bit of almost like a checklist that you can go through and ask these questions. Do you need to have prior knowledge before going into it to be able to do that? Like, how can parents do this if they haven't been in the area before?
Yeah, they can do it because we just add some questions and they are not strict. You can guide the conversation through these terms because the idea is to. This is work in progress, so we are trying to also develop some kind of studies to study the psychometric properties and to give it to families to see how it works in real life. So we want to...
That's the next step, is it?
Yeah, we want to work on this. But it's quite simple. We just want to say that this is real, this is happening. There are many interventions that, because this is also important. I don't want to be unfair, because we find this kind of speech, this kind of discourse in pseudoscience, in interventions that claim things that are not plausible.
Yeah, that's right.
But we can find also in what we call it like evidence failures, that interventions that maybe can have some clinical case or some research, and the claims are like overstated. And and we have seen it a lot.
We have seen it a lot, and it's interesting because that contrasts so significantly with the unfortunate part, but it's also good. Researchers, we talk with a lot of caution, don't we?
Yeah.
We don't really speak in absolutes. We go, we can find a significant result, but there's always a but, because we're never going because we know when you study something, there's things that you can have by chance, and we know there's these other factors to it. Unfortunately, when people hear us talk that way, and people do speak in absolutes and go, this does it for everything, it's difficult to compete, isn't it?
Yeah. Above all, for example, I work a lot with families with infants at high risk of CP, which is a very vulnerable time.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of approaches and the F words can help us really a lot to have a conversation with them, to build capacities from the NICU, to help them focus on what really matters. We know it's really challenging time, but I think we can do it better at this moment.
That phase. It's such a shame, isn't it? Like, here we are trying to raise awareness about how these words have been misappropriated based on no evidence. It's pseudoscience, and we're trying to give people tools to identify them. On the flip side, the people who are selling these or marketing them, there is a responsibility that needs to be placed on them as well, because if they're health professionals, we do have standards that we need to abide by as well. What would you say to that? What would you say to those who are peddling these interventions that are, clearly there's no research behind it?
Yeah, we found also, and I think that's interesting, like a big movement from intervention that has been here for a long time, and they are trying to move to ingredients we know it work, towards like neuroplasticity that we know it work, and I think we need to be clear with that. No, I know we need to avoid rebranding if it doesn't come with real evidence behind. Because this is really problematic now.
It is, yeah.
Because we don't know really if intervention is really changing or not.
That's right.
Because it's like only makeup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's so many layers to that. But at the end of the day, we really want to make sure that parents are given the opportunity to make informed consent.
Yeah, that's a key point.
I love how Iona Novak was just here with another episode, and she was talking about the fact that, children don't get to consent to a lot of these, right? So we want to be really careful if we're replacing time with things that have been well studied to support them for well-being and good outcomes.
That's a key point, because we are seeing also how these kind of approaches, these neurowashing approaches, are using, and it's so concerning. They are being used to justify practices that cause distress, that cause pain, that cause the child crying, justifying it just because the greater good, like we need to go through this because it works.
That's right. We'll go through the pain. On the other side, there's going to be something better. No pain, no gain. It's an awful term.
And families go through this because they want.
I think the reason why maybe it works for people when they say no pain, no gain is because we have been taught that as part of our language for so long. You've got to go through tough stuff to see good stuff on the other side, right? And it takes a lot to break that down and then to apply it through a lens of a child and their life and their well-being. there's a lot of layers there to break down.
Yeah, and that's why the F words are so important. So important. Yeah.
I love the work that you're doing here, and your whole crew and your whole team that are doing this. Obviously, this is an evolving space. Do you foresee any big challenges with regards to this being used in practice? I mean, I would love to use it, but do you see any challenges in this happening?
Yeah, I love to see this working in real life. Above all, for example, I'm working now a lot with my Latin American colleagues, and they are also suffering a lot from this kind of non-evidence-based interventions in places with lots of inequities, with low resources that are investing all what they have in this kind of approaches. So we need to see how it works in real life, and we need to approach all these low and middle income countries to support professionals and families in this, because we don't have many tools to guide conversation with families regarding this aspect. We usually talk, and we give them the IONAS systematic review, and we talk about the bubbles.
Yes.
But sometimes, as you said, this is not enough, because there will be somebody talking that this is not working, and we can solve your problems like this.
Yeah, and it's compelling, isn't it? It makes people want to look at it. And I think the common thread, lower middle income countries, I do work there as well. We've got a clinic in Malaysia, is that a lot of the time there's not enough resource from an equipment perspective. So a lot of therapies are very manual. They're very hands-on based. So that is just really woven into the fabric of what's happening. So to teach another way is so important, because there are a lot of hands-off therapies that you can do as a group. You don't need to be one-on-one. There's still really cost-effective ways. So we still need to keep going forward, don't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Really important work that you're doing, Alvaro. I'm going to keep a lookout for this. How long do you think this might take before we can see this ready for us to use? And what's happening?
Jeannie, we have Jeannie working on this, so
I'll be ready next month.
Yeah, probably. Likely.
Okay. So soon. So we'll make sure we keep tabs on this, and we'll be able to talk to people about it more in coming episodes. So thank you for joining, Alvaro.
Thank you from the heart for your invitation.
Really absolutely loved it. Thank you. So one last question for you before I forget, though. I've been asking everyone this question. Very F words conference here. Alvaro, what would be your advice for clinicians to integrate more of the F words into their practice?
Well, such a difficult question. I'll say that talk with the family, sit with them, talk about their needs. How can we, from my perspective, from the early intervention, how we can support them in their real life, in their needs while they are eating, while they are taking the baby to the kindergarten, while we are in the park, because from our field we can be very, very useful in many ways. And we will find, without thinking in the F words, we will find them there.
That's wonderful. Great advice. Thank you very much. To all of our listeners, I hope you really enjoyed that. There's so many practical tools that we can think about and use. And, it's great to know that there's people doing this kind of work that can help us to help our families to make really good decisions about what they want to do and have that informed decision-making process. So it's really wonderful. So many more episodes to come, of course. I hope you're enjoying them. I'll talk to you all again really soon. Bye.